Hey, Mark, Centerline Systems. Here's our little intro. We're going to sit and talk about our Scout bottle carrier based on some great feedback from you guys. So during the little intro music, go grab yourself a drink and a cigar and strap in. Here we go. All you wonderful kids, here we are, Mark, Centerline Systems. Hopefully you took that intro, that break during that awesome music that we chose. No one gave us a referral for music this time, so we had to come up with it on our own. But anyway, so I just have to throw one thing in here before I start talking about what the video is actually going to be. And I think it was 4 videos ago, 5 something, I talked a little bit of smack. Well, we're on take number 2. But it was things outside of my control. It's windy out, and then the property owner just drove through on her side-by-side, and so it was kind of disruptive. So here we go. We're going to do a second take here, and I'm going to put my eyeballs on. But what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about our Scout bottle carrier, and we've done this before, but I've had a lot of really good customer interactions recently, and it's compelled me to do this video a second time. So without further ado, I'm just going to dive right into it. So here's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to talk about the product. I'm going to talk about all the different types of bottles it can fit and the things that I know it can't fit. I'm going to talk about its utility and some different ways to use it. Maybe throw in some little gems of pearls of wisdom on why you should never go out in the woods unprepared. And then I think we might wrap it up with just a little like, you know, hey, you do you. What do you think, you know? Something that can do all this or something that can only do one thing. I like interoperability, and I like the maximum capacity and capability for the gear I use. So here we go. All right, diving right in. We're just going to talk about the product. All right, so it's the Scout bottle carrier. Well, I guess I'll do a little quick inside baseball. And I know I've said this before. I wasn't going to make a bottle carrier. When we first started, I was making the the mother, the MCC. But I had a whole bunch of people asking to make a bottle carrier. And I was like, well, there's a gazillion and one bottle carriers on the market, and so many of them are made from China, and they're so damn cheap. Like, how am I ever going to compete with that? Well, I had enough people ask me, and then I said, well, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to make it, as I just said, it's going to have a lot of, you know, functionality to it, and it's going to be interoperable, it's going to be badass, it's going to be made from, you know, mil-spec, berry compliant materials, and it's going to be able to do more than just one thing, right? Because anyway, so here we go, without further ado. So here's the front of the Scout. I'm just going to get this strap out of the way. I guess where I'm going to start is the inside, and I'll show you all the bottles in a second. But just like the mother and the GCC, and well, actually in a few of our other products, we use this rubberized material on the inside, right? Probably won't show up very good, but there it is. So we do that for a couple of reasons, because if you're using, for example, if you're doing a bottle and a cup that goes with it, right? You know, if that cup, depending on the bales, you know, maybe there's something sharp. Well, I wanted to put something on the inside that gave you a little bit more, you know, abrasion resistant, cut resistant. There's a little hornet flying right into the camera. Hopefully that showed up. I love it, you know, when we get little buddies showing up when we're doing these things. But I wanted to have this to be more robust, more, you know, the interior of it needed to be more than just, you know, the Kadura. 500 denier is really good, but you know, 1,000 in and outs or 2,000 in and outs, and if that's rubbing against it, well, then it might be rubbing a hole through your gear, and who needs that, right? So, and also, even though it's not really designed for it, it has a little bit of a, you know, a cooling factor or retention factor. So, you know, it just helps cold things stay cold and hot things stay hot. So that's the inside of the Scout. Going to the outside, we've got this strap across the top, and that's actually twofold. So one function is so when the bikini strap comes over the front, you don't have to go through there, but you can run the bikini strap through here, and it's just an additional retention device to keep your bikini strap flopping around when it's over the top of your bottle. But, you know, also, it's a great little tie down. So here's just a basic carabiner, you know, attach a carabiner. A lot of GPS come with little small carabiners. Attach that there. Your sunglass case, your gloves. It just gives you an ability to attach more things to the outside, the smaller things that you might want to have access to. And then there's the pocket itself, and I'm going to go over the pocket in greater detail in a little bit. But I'll just say, so this pocket, you know, it's a really large pocket. It's not going to carry the kitchen sink, like I think I said in some of our other write-ups, but this will definitely carry a 5x7 tarp. So if you're thinking about, you know, food, fire, water, shelter, shoot, move, communicate, medicate, 10 C's, get back home, whatever you're considering. And matter of fact, let me just take a quick pause right there. In my personal opinion, and I've already seen it so many times here in northern Minnesota because it's summertime right now and everybody's out having fun and enjoying themselves, as well you should. But if you think just a walk in Mother Nature out in the woods is just a walk in the woods, I think you're completely misleading yourself and you're setting yourself up for failure. So why wouldn't you go out there with something that allows you to deal with, you know, not every situation, but it gives you the basic necessities so you can survive the vast majority of situations. Getting lost, somebody skins a knee, breaks a leg, you might have to suddenly overnight out of nowhere. I'll show you. Or you're just going out and you want to carry some cool things with you over your shoulder to impress your date, and then you're going to make this awesome meal out in the woods. Whatever it is, right? You know, it could be as high speed or in low drag or as just cool and romantic as you want it to. So more than just like, you know, putting a bottle in a sock and throwing it over your shoulder. All right, so the main pocket, right? Then the shoulder strap. So the shoulder strap is our standard shoulder strap, and it's got 1-inch webbing on the outside of 1.5-inch webbing. And what that allows you to do is to take other products, you know, whether it's pouches, whether it's a knife, and you can attach them. Now, right here, you'll see everything's running, you know, in a horizontal, but it comes with these two-way adapters, and you can put a two-way adapter here and then slide that through the other outside of the two-way adapter, and now that's secured. Or you can use shock cord, 550 cord, rubber bands, whatever you want to do. And now you can attach pouches this way, or you can attach pouches, you know, again, vertically or horizontally, you know, whatever you want to do. So now your shoulder strap even can carry more gear, right? So why not have a shoulder strap that does more than just a shoulder strap? The pouch itself, and I'll get to the exterior in a second, but you can see right now, you know, I've got it in a, you know, in a vertical carry configuration, right? And that's how the chasm buckles, it'll come like this, right? Now, another note I've mentioned multiple times, we use chasm buckles, but we can give you split bars. So just all you have to do is communicate. Let me know you want some split bars or you'd rather have split bars, and we can make that work. But that's with the chasm buckles, and these chasm buckles have an opening at the top and the bottom, which makes them very rigid. They don't move around. They can come off. It's not easy to do, but they can come off, whereas the split bars will slide up and down more, right? So just another option. But now here, and I've already got this kind of plugged in, but what you could do is take one of the split bar buckles off, put it on the opposite side, pointing out, and then take your shoulder strap, plug it in, and now you can carry it in a scout or a horizontal configuration, right? So it gives you multiple carrying options just from the shoulder strap alone. You know, if you want a handful of buckles, again, all you have to do is just reach out and let me know. I can throw 1 or 2 more in there, and you could already just configure it that way so you don't have to take the buckles off, or if you want to run the split bars, as I already said, whatever you want to do. All right, for the rest of the video, I'm just going to take the shoulder strap off so we can actually access the inside. Matter of fact, I'm going to strap this up for just one last little thing, and then I'll have to undo it in a second. Now, I'm going to talk about the Molle that goes along the outside of it. I'm going to talk about that in a couple seconds when we get over to the kind of like, well, I wish it did this a little differently. But I'll save that for last. But what I want to talk about right now is it's a single Molle on the back, right? So this can attach to your belt. This can attach to the outside of a rucksack. You can run a strap over the back of your car seat and then run it through there, and this can be on the back of your car seats. Heck, you could have an Nalgene bottle full of sippy juice stuff there for your kid, you know, with a big straw, whatever, you know, so you could have it right there. So there's a tons of things that you can do. It's just limited to your imagination. And the other one is what you see me doing. So instead of weaving it through the Molle, I just have it all the way open and just secure in the bottom. And now my hand can go through there, right? So now I can just hold it in my hand like this, and it's nice and comfortable. Heck, you could get creative, wrap a towel or something around here if you wanted to, you know, tape it down or whatever, and make a little sweatbandy thing out of it. If you were doing lots of jogging, if you were fighting off Sasquatch, bam, 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 right? You could do whatever you want, but it allows you to also carry it in just through your hand as you're walking or if you're jogging, right? Because maybe you want to carry this as you're jogging, right? Have some water. You know, now your cell phone's in this pocket. You know, there's a great example. Kind of jumping ahead to the pocket, but Here's my cell phone, right? Modern cell phone, ginormous, right? You know, more computing skills or capability than we had when we went to the moon, right? That fits in there perfectly, right? So I can, from a safety perspective, if I was out jogging, now I've got water, I could have my cell phone, my vehicle keys, and maybe an ID in there, you know, or whatever, if I was running out in the woods by myself. And I could either throw that over my shoulder as I was jogging, or once again, I could just simply run my hand through the back and then run with it that way. Okay, that's the exterior of the product. Now let's sit and talk about some bottles, all right? Now, I kind of want to start this little segment with God bless all of you, right? Because I get people asking, well, what about this and what about that? And the answer is, look, you know, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, I've got like 12 things around me. And that's not even close to everything that's out there on the market. I don't know everything on the market. So we're just gonna go over a bunch of things that I think are kind of commonplace, and you do you, right? You know, you can figure it out. Hey, if what you're buying is smaller than this or larger than that, I'm just trying to give you, you know, the rough in-betweens. Because another thing when I made this, I said to myself, well, I didn't want it to only fit a Nalgene bottle, right? If it only fits a Nalgene bottle, then it's a Nalgene and something smaller, but nothing larger than a Nalgene bottle. And there's definitely other things larger than a Nalgene. So I tried to find the sweetest spot I possibly could. There's a joke in there somewhere. Is this rated PG? I don't know. But anyway, so here we go. I should just shut up and just talk about the gear, right? All right, so here's a K-Titine bottle, right? These are really good bottles. They've got internal filters. You can just put the water right in there and then just drink, and it filters it all the way through. So if you were in a little bit more of a survival perspective, like, hey, I want to have a water bottle with me so I can filter water. Well, so, you know, now there's more room off on the side where you might be running other items, and you could fill this whole area up still with other items. Or if you didn't do that, you can just run the bikini strap over it and secure it in place and prevent it from bouncing around, right? So K-Titine, great company, great product. Here's another version of a K-Titine. This is an older one. It's a little bit bigger. You can see it's the same damn principle. Everything still works right there. You know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start throwing these off the table because we got a lot of stuff on the table. Let's clear it off. All right, so here's another similar product that's new, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have, the Grail water press. So it's a water filter, and you press it, you fill it full of water, and just put the top back in. But just wanted to show you that because I know this is a popular, here I actually would carry it in that configuration. But then this guy comes over the top. There you go, and I can secure it that way. I could turn it sideways. You know, that way I can still access it, you know, as I'm walking and hiking, you know, and then just drink the water from the filter. So that's the Grail water press. Now here's just some getting into some canteens. So, you know, here's a clean canteen, and this is a, you know, like there's so many different nesting cups. So this is a GSI, but there's a lot of different companies. So, and a lot of them, you know, it's up to you. Like, you know, stainless, titanium, aluminum, aluminium for our international customers from the UK, aluminium. Anyway, so there you go. So as I already mentioned, the interior space. So you can do this a couple different ways. You can put cup in first, but you can put the whole product in there. So you can see, like, that's still, it's still just loose enough where it kind of lets it slide in. Then the bikini strap separates and go over to on the neck of the bottle, so you can still drink, and keeps it nice and secure as you're jogging or on your hike. Get that guy kind of out of the way. Pull him out. Get my fingers out of the way. All right, Nalgene, and I'm going to show some other Nalgene bottles in a second. So Nalgene also has a filter straw system bottle, right? So that fits in. Matter of fact, I'll use this as a great example. So a Nalgene by itself, and I'm going to try to hold this up as parallel with the, yeah, right about there, I think, so you can see. So just the bottle by itself, it kind of comes to the top of the Scout. So think about that. If you want to throw a couple things in the bottom, you know, cocoa packets, a kerchief, you know, like, or a shamog, you know, something small that if you want to throw in there, it's going to raise it up just a little bit. So mess around and play with it, you know, because there's nothing that hurts if it was even like this high above the top of the Scout. The bikini strap is still going to go around it. You want to go a little bit higher, well then get the jump strap, you know, get the strap kit. But again, I just wanted to show off this Nalgene, because Nalgene also makes another bottle that is a filtration bottle. And again, just whatever your cup is, you can see, just put, you know, with a nesting cup, and that'll go fit right in there. Sorry, I didn't want to throw that one around. You know, the other ones are old and plastic. That one's kind of relatively new, and I kind of like it. So let's kind of keep that there. This is my favorite bottle. This is another Nalgene, and I'm not picking one company over the other. I'm just saying I drink out of this a lot. So you know, when I'm at the shop, I drink out of a heavy cover, a regular canteen, and when I'm at home, I drink out of a water bottle. Why? I don't know. I'm a weirdo. Maybe I'm just like you. Maybe you got just little things. But so here's another example of how that without a nesting cup just comes nice and flat, but I can just go right over the top and secure it in place, right? And then, yeah, okay, then I have to open it and pull it up, but that's what you're gonna have to do anyway. This is like, and this is what makes this a really nice bottle is, I think anyway, it's just got that really large mouth. Some people have big mouths, and but you can put ice in there and, you know, the whole 9 yards. So I really like this bottle. All right, there we go. All right, now this is gonna be a little bit of a slightly different segment, right? I wanted to talk about bottles, and I've done this in the past, and you've heard me say this before. You know, I'm not pretending to be, you know, like, you know, this, that, or other thing. You know, I'm me, all right? And I've done some things, whatever, right? But maybe you know this, maybe you don't know this. You know, if you know it, now's a good time to go back to the fridge and get another beer, because we've probably already been talking for like 10 minutes, right? But so here's something that you can do with your bottles, right? So all I've done is I've just taken a regular Nalgene bottle. I did this a long time ago, and I just wrapped a whole bunch of 550 cord on the outside of the bottle, and then where I started my 100-mile-an-hour tape, I took 2 pieces opposite and put them along the same edge. So as I started this, so there's no tape residue going against the 550 cord, and then the tape went over, and then now the sticky part of the tape went onto a non-sticky part of the 100-mile-an-hour tape, and then I just wrapped around. I didn't do a great job of it, but that guy fits in there, right? So now my Nalgene bottle isn't just a Nalgene bottle. Again, food, fire, water, shelter. I can still just drink out of this. It's still got, you know, a big mouth, so I can put ice cubes and all kinds of stuff in there. But if I really needed to, you know, if I broke a finger and I could just take some of this tape and I could, right there, I could splint it to another finger. That's better than nothing, right? Got a whole bunch of 550 cord in here, whether it's to make a shelter, whether it's to pull out the guts and to stitch something up, like I rip my pants or whatever the case may be. Heck, there you go right there. If you really wanted to get a high speed, you could put some needles around here, some sewing needles or some fishing hooks. This could have been fishing line, and you could turn this little guy right here into a self-sustained, like, you know, survival kit, right? And there's a gazillion and one people on YouTube, I think, and well, I hope there are, that are talking about that stuff. If you got a question, give me a call. But again, I'm just kind of going through some things, right? But this is something you should be, if you're carrying a bottle, you should be doing something like this with it. What does it hurt? It's a fun thing to do on a Friday or Saturday night if you're not out, you know, playing bingo. I don't know whatever that meant. But anyway, so here's another example I wanted to point out. Actually, let me go here. So you don't have to do the whole bottle if you don't want, you know, but this, at a minimum, I highly recommend, you know, put it on the top or the bottom, you know, leave yourself space. That's smaller tape. You could just do that the whole way down, right? So that will fit. It doesn't interfere, because like, here's what I guess I'm trying to say. If I do this with my Nalgene bottle or my water bottle. Now, maybe if I use one of the thinner water bottles, I could do just a few less layers and I can still get it to go in my nesting cup. But you can see if I do this on a Nalgene, it's not going to go into a nesting cup because they, you know, they fit pretty nicely, right? But on say a Katadine, you know, look at how much, you know, space I have in there. So I could actually mess around with that, figure out, you know, how much tape I could put on, how much gear before it starts interfering with my ability to put that into a nesting cup. So just a little something to think about. But if you're doing it on a Nalgene, right, it isn't going to work if you go the whole part of the body. You got to either just do pick, you know, top. However, that doesn't mean you still can't use a nesting cup, because if you stop short enough and just figure this out, you can just put your nesting cup on the top of the Nalgene bottle, fit that guy in there, and depending on, you know, what you're using, like so right here, and I'm not going to go through the strap, Guess I'm going to try to get this straight though first. I'm not going to go through the strap just because I'm doing this for time, but you know, there you go. Now this pocket isn't full, and you can see though I still have some room for expansion. My recommendation here, get one of the strap kits, get a jump strap, because if you fill this pocket up, you know, well actually no, you could still do it without a jump strap, right? You can see right there. Jump strap doesn't hurt. Wink, wink, nod, nod, buy a strap kit. But there's just another example, like, you know, just do it that way. Then now your nesting cup is up on the top, and you still have all those additional items and components, you know, that are on the outside of your Nalgene bottle itself. All right, throwing this stuff away. Not throwing it away, putting it off to the side. One last thing to talk about, and then I'm going to kind of mix it up, and then I'm going to go to the outside, and then I'm going to come to some specialty items. You know, honestly, no. I'm going to do the outside, then I'm going to come to specialty items, and then I'm going to end it over here on the main pocket. So I've already talked about this, but I'll just do it again real kind of quickly. So you've got all this Molle on the outside. So again, you know, carabiners, S-beaners, you know, hook stuff up, carry it on the outside. You know, you can still take 550 cord. The eye of that, or the tooth got caught up. You can still take 550 cord and shock cord and make loops here, and then you could still run a jacket, a shelter. You know, the larger you go, you're really attaching the Scout to this larger item, right? So smaller items, like a folding saw pouch though, that mounts on here, right? You know, so single Molle going through here and weaving onto itself, and then that holds in place, all right? So that's what this is, because it's single Molle, right? This is a circle, right? So again, if you're a math expert, you can ridicule me in the comments. Is it trigonometry, geometry? I think it's geometry, right? But if you're taking a larger flat surface, right? So this is one of the med kits that we make for Black Scout Survival. It's a 2 Molle system. And if you're molling this to the outside, well, come on, something has to give. Either the flat surface has to bend, or the bent surface has to flatten for that to actually ride very perfectly. I mean, I don't know how else to describe that. And that was kind of, again, and I'm not picking on this person, I've actually heard this before from other people, but it's like, oh yeah, and I put some stuff out there and the Molle didn't work. I'm like, what do you mean the Molle didn't work? And then through the conversation, I'm like, oh, so you were running a 2 Molle pouch? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, well, that's a flat surface mounting onto a circle. Last I checked, that didn't work in the universe that I live in. But you know, you do you. And you can still make it work. I mean, seriously, you could. But you know, the flat surface is just going to have to bend, and it's not going to be perfect. I don't know what to tell you after that. You know, like, but anyway, you can mount more things on the outside. That's really what the takeaway should have been. Is like, but you can see there's not a lot of space between where the shoulder straps are and where the main Molle is. So it really is designed for single pouch items, and you can get 2 single pouch items. You can technically get 4 because there's a space from where the shoulder strap is to the main pocket. It's a little tight for single straps, but you can do it before you get everything loaded up. So realistically, depending on the pouches, you could get 4 pouches on the outside of this thing. That's increasing your carrying capacity by quite a bit, depending on the pouches. And again, food, fire, water, shelter, shoot, move, communicate, medicate, 10 C's, get back home, a folding saw pouch, or this could have been full of lickies and chewies and condiments. I could have actually put my signals kit in here, and actually I just thought of that. Well, I know we've talked about it, but I wasn't going to mention it this time. I was going to show the main pocket for that, but I could have put a rudimentary signals kit in here and had that mounted to the outside, and then that would have left my main pocket open for shelter or food or whatever I was doing. So use your imagination and think this stuff through. That's all I'm trying to say, because again, I think the real takeaway here is, hey, if you're going to go out into the woods, carry some water with you. Why wouldn't you do that? And if you're going to carry some water with you, you know, do you want to throw it into something that's basically the equivalent of a sock, you know, with a shoulder strap on it? No. Why not carry your water in a container that can carry a whole heck of a lot more? Food, fire, water, shelter, shoot, move, communicate, medicate, 10 C's, get back home. You know, think it through. All right. Because it would really suck if you went out there and your buddy does break a leg, or, you know, really twists his ankle really bad, and you don't even have a knife with you to fashion, you know, a splint or a crutch or a shelter, you know, and now you're just, you know, it's a beautiful day here right now, but I'm here to tell you, you know, if we're just both wearing shorts and t-shirts and we don't have anything else, and, you know, and if you don't carry, you know, depending on what you have in your pockets, and you don't have the ability to make a rudimentary shelter or start a fire, even tonight is going to suck monkey balls. I mean, it is, you know, especially like fire will help keep the mosquitoes away too. And, you know, no one likes mosquitoes. All right, on that little rambling note, now I'm going to go into some of the kind of more specialty things that you can fit in here. And I do want to just reiterate once again, there's so much gear. I don't know all of it. I'm just trying to give you another example, or, you know, doing this one more time to give you some examples, and then you can make some comparisons, right? And we just got to make sure that we, sorry, a little sidebar there. I need to get this stuff onto the website. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all of our videos, move them into playlists, and then have those playlists hyperlinked in each of the product pages. And I'm actually just probably within 2 weeks, I'm going to redo all the product pages. Somebody just helped me with some new write-ups. I've got some new pictures coming. We're doing this whole thing I just said about the playlist for each product. So the website's going to look a little differently here in about 2 weeks. So just stay tuned. But here's another great product, and I just wanted to talk about this because some people don't know about it, or I think we've done a video on it before. Yeah, we have done 1 or 2 videos on this before, but I haven't used this a whole lot. I'm not going to lie, but when I've used this, I actually like it. And I've got an even larger one that fits in the burrito, the CFSE. But this is Hydra Pack. And what's really kind of cool about it is that these connectors, there's so many of these different connectors you can get. Like this is a little shower connector. It was just the one that was right there. And I just wanted to grab it because, well, here, you could have this filled with water. Imagine you're at your campsite, you know, fill this guy full of water, or put him in here. You know, because, you know, here's the thing. This right now is empty, so it's very flexible and it's just moving all around the place. But then if I open this up and fill it full of water, it's going to conform to the size. It's going to conform to the Scout, right? And I can still run the bikini strap over it. Well, I would move it once it was full, get the bikini strap, you know, over here. Talking ain't doing, right? Let's just pretend that I was going to fill this up. And when I filled it up, it was more in this angle. Then I would run the bikini strap over that guy. And that would help hold it in place better. And then depending on which exterior connection I would use, it's what's kind of neat about this is you just plug it in and it really holds in place, and then, you know, you twist it to release. Now, I understand if you were out doing some crazy wazoo stuff, you could hit that and that could, you know, cause it and you'd lose it out in the woods. So this might just be a little bit more of a campsite thing, which, you know, well, that's what a shower hose is for anyway. But now you could, you know, secure this up in a tree, and now you could just sit there and just give yourself a little, you know, field bath right then and there, you know. Again, whatever works for you. You know, these are just techniques. But I actually really like this, and I think it's pretty cool. They make another one that, you know, depending on who you are or what you like to do, you could probably fill with wine, I'm just saying, and put that in there. And where did these little red things come from all of a sudden? Oh, I think it came from the flare. Anyway, I just got sidetracked. You know, squirrel. Ooh. All right, but these things are really cool. I kind of like them a lot, and you know, I've got 2 of them, and I've used them a handful of times. You know, not as much to whatever, but they're pretty neat. I like them. All right, let's go into a couple more little unique items, right? So this is, it's not really unique, but this is a Yeti, right? And this is a good, what is this? The 36-ounce Yeti, I think this is. All right, this is another one of my favorite little drinking containers, but that fits in there really nicely. And what I wanted to show off is because, again, it's that higher profile type of bottle, but there's still more than enough room in the retention strap to secure that in place. So earlier I'd mentioned, you know, getting one of the jump straps. You don't need to do that with this bottle. And again, what's really nice about this type of bottle, it's got that big mouth, and so you can put ice in there. You know, I don't know, maybe this is full of gin and tonics. It's you do you, right? Whatever you want to do. So that's a great bottle. I'm gonna save that for last. So here's a jet boil, and I've talked about this in the past. So I'll put a bunch of stuff on the inside of my jet boil because it's a storage space. So why not take advantage of it? You could put food in there. You could put your, you know, your fuel. You could put, you know, all the accoutrements, not the accoutrements, but you know, the parts that go with it. You can put it inside there. Now this fits in here, but the one thing, and I've done this before, so you can fit it with the sleeve on. It's just a little bit of a pain in the butt. I think so. I actually like putting it in there without the sleeve on, and because the sleeve is just, you know, malleable. You can fold that up and put it into the main pocket, you know, try to, you know, tuck it along the outside of it on the inside. But I actually don't like putting it with the sleeve in, because the sleeve and the interior rubber material, they just want to, you know, stick to each other. So, but a jet boil fits in here too, right? So you could actually turn this into some type of you know, like, you know, your little cook kit. You know, maybe you got the jet boil in there, and then the main pocket is full of rice and beans. You know, sorry, wind just blew up. I'm gonna try to, oh, there we go, it's coming down, slowing down. Yeah, I'll get to this a little bit later. I'll fix this off camera. But you can put all that stuff in here and still get the strap over the top. So just another nice, you know, capability, right? Who doesn't like more functionality? All right, this is a new product I just got for myself just, you know, at the end of winter this year. And it's the Yuko Candelier. And this thing puts off some serious frickin', you know, light. Yuko, if you're watching, the only thing I wish is that it had the reflective shield like the smaller ones do, so you can use it like a true candle and, like, you know, beam it around. This guy is badass, right? So now I just kind of thought of this at the end. I haven't messed with this bail. I'm sure this bail comes off. But you know, when you put it, like, you can't fit it with the bail in, because the bail just is, well, you know, you probably could. I mean, I bet I could undo this. I don't want to mess around with it. So you might want to take the bail off. But if you have one of these, or if you know the size of it, I just kind of wanted to point out, like, this guy fits in there, and that's, you can go a little bit bigger than the Yuko Candelier to fit inside of here, and that's about it. So this was a great example of, like, the maximum size, because this slides in nicely. Again, you can go just a little bit bigger. I don't know if I would want to. But this guy's really cool. I mean, I really like this Yuko Candelier. And what you could do then is, if you were out camping, this could just simply be the storage unit for your candelier, and then just have a bunch of your candles with you. This takes 3 candles. These come in packs of 3. You can either fit it in there by itself. I wouldn't do that. I would just take the candles out, put them in a Ziploc bag, and then just put them in there, because that way you could fit more stuff on the outside, because maybe you want to put, like, you know, a fire, you know, your matches or something else in there, or a chem light, you know. So then this could just be like your little part of your signals kit, but it could also just be that badass thing that you're just pulling out and you got it around the campsite. And again, this is really cool, and I'm not throwing that down because, I don't know, I use it quite a bit. I don't know why. I do have one candle that burns a little bit more than the other. I don't know what that's all about. So I've done that. I've gone through 3 sets of candles on that, and every time one candle burns a little bit more, that candle just burns hotter than the rest of the world. I don't know. I'm just, bad jokes. I should just keep on products, because we're losing light. All right, so this is a giant growler. Now, I have a growler of my own. This isn't mine. I had to borrow this. I can't find my freaking growler. I normally just don't go to bars and get a growler full of beer, so it's not my thing. And I've got so many props. I have no idea where my growler is, but this is the kind of growler that you'll see from almost every bar that does growlers in America, right? So I've seen, but there is another one. I've got it. It's just a little bit smaller. This guy is just a little bit too big. But if you look at the picture on the website, you'll see I can fit a growler in here, but it's not this, it's a slightly smaller size. So if this is your thing and you're big into growlers, then you probably know a million times more about this than I do. So this is the standard, and this is a little bit too big, but I know there's a smaller size because I have one someplace and it fits, and I've got a picture to prove it on the website. I just don't have the damn growler to prove that, you know, the picture wasn't deep faked or something. But so you can see, that's just, it's the same size as the outside, so it isn't gonna work. But so if you, just another example, tell me what doesn't work, right? Okay, last but not least, I want to talk a little bit about the outside pocket. And, you know, so a lot of this has to do with water bottles. And, you know, I think I already kind of said it, you know, like, you do you. I mean, like, whatever your technique is, whatever works for you, right? So there's not just one way of doing anything. So this could be everything from, like, I'm going out to a jog, or I'm just going for a hike, or I'm using this, and this is actually part of my bushcraft or my outdoor gear, my survival gear. Or it could be something as simple as, hey, I can get a lot of cool things in here, and I can take it with me, and I'm on that date, and we're going up to, you know, Gooseberry Falls, or we're, you know, Temperance River, and you're walking out in the woods and there's great vistas, and maybe you just want to sit down and make a nice little lunch, pull out your bottle, and your bottle is actually full of wine, or put a bottle of wine in here. Again, I already referenced that. There's so many pictures of people putting, shit, I can't remember. I think it's like 4 beers you can fit in here or something like that. But, you know, do what you want to do. And, like, so on that note, you know, the outer sleeve, you know, or the inside, you know, depending what you're putting in here. You know, put a sleeve of crackers in there, you know, put, you know, some sardines if you like sardines, but you see what I'm getting at. Like this, all this stuff will fit in there, you know, very easily. Put some cheese in there, put some crackers, put some hard salami, or put some, you know, like, you know, the beef sticks or whatever those, you know, things are you can get at a really good meat market. Now, if you're going to bring a knife with you, though, this is one thing I did want to point out. Unless you've got, you know, this type of knife with a scabbard, which you can put on the outside, and that's what I would recommend, because then you've got more interior space for other things. But just a quick little stupid note, because here's a knife I use all the time, right? So it's just a U.S. Army GI old butter knife, but a good guy actually gave this to me, and he turned this into a sharp, this actually cuts things knife, and I really like it. So, but if you're going to carry this, you don't want that. There's no scabbard for this. You don't want that just poking around on the inside of your product. All you have to do is just take some, you know, good cardboard from inside your house. I just folded it so there's a bottom to it now, right? I can put the knife inside of that bottom part, you know, fold that over, run some tape over, and what did I just make? I just made an improvised little knife sheath, right? So now the pointy thing isn't pointing all the way through and ripping up the gear, and you're not getting injured, and you can still put that in there, grab your cheese, cut up your cheese, take out your bottle of wine. If that doesn't impress somebody, I don't know what does. And then last but not least, you know, I kind of talked about, and I think this is maybe the last thing I want to do, just the outside pocket, to give you some ideas for your brain housing group. All right, so this is a signal mirror still inside of its case. So if you're just going out running, hiking, whatever, whatever. So even if I put a 3x5 tarp in here, again, food, fire, water, shelter, shoot, move, communicate, medicate. You got to kind of look at your environment, where you're going to be. You have to do the analysis yourself, but you might want, you know, a signals mirror. Maybe this is a plug. Again, go back and watch some of our signals. We did like 3 videos on emergency signal. So, you know, do you want to take matches? And if you want to take matches, well, a lot of these matches, this is another Yuko, they got the ability to attach a whistle. So I can use the matches to light a fire to give myself food, fire, you know, like, which means heating food, keeping myself warm. I can also use it as a form of signal. I can attach a little signal whistle to this, you know, for another form of signaling. This is a signal mirror. I could easily, I just don't want to take it out of the package. I've got a bunch of these things, but this would fit in here with my 5x7 tarp, you know, without a problem. You know, some chem lights with some 550 cord and tape. The tape I could use for a multitude of things. 550 I could pull apart and take the interior space off, but I can crack this. I can do a buzz saw. I can use the cordage that's in here to sew if I have to, like, you know, sew up my clothes. I can attach this to the outside. I can put it on the interior pocket. Here's a little signal flare. Again, I'm just giving you ideas. That fits in there very, let's see, can you see that right there? Yep, so these smaller slap flares, they fit in there very nicely. So again, if you're thinking emergency signal, you know, again, going back to the 10Cs, you know, but, you know, you got to have a good knife. So whether it's a Gerber tool, a Leatherman, a good knife, you know, so which one is this? I can't remember what this one is called, but basically it's a Mora. But, and then it has a little fire steel in the back, right? So I've got, you know, I could have some redundancy. I could have my matches, but then I could have a fire steel, and then I have a knife for, you know, like cutting things. Obviously, you're gonna wanna do that. And then last but not least, you know, and then don't forget just your basic chem light, right? You know, so I could take this chem light, run it through the, talking ain't doing, right? Run it through there, take the shock cord that you got with your hanging tag, and then attach it, and then now look, now this is secured. This isn't gonna come off until I pull the shock cord around it. There you go, right? So now I'm securing it so I can't lose it, because this could be a vital piece of gear, and I could still use this for a buzz saw. Wouldn't be maybe as good as having the 550 cord, but it would still work, right? So that's the Scout water bottle carrier. As you can see, and this, I don't know idea how long this is. I don't even care how long it is. I could have still gone for at least another hour just talking about, you know, the different types of survival items or outdoor items that this can carry and you should consider bringing with you. Now, I've never really done this in the past, and but I just kind of want to point this out, right? So, and I'm not picking on any other company. You've heard me say this a million times, and I really mean it. Like, hey, they've got their own thing, right? And I've got my own thing. And there's a lot of people who think my thing is, you know, too expensive or full of shit or whatever the case is, or like, or who cares if it's made in America? You know, do I really need, you know, this high quality of material? You know, no, you're right. It's a technique. You could buy 10 if you can afford it. buy 10 of the one thing as opposed to buying the one thing. It's a technique. You can do it however you want, right? But so here, like, so you make up your own mind. So here's a water bottle carrier that's very popular, right? It can't do anything except hold this bottle. That's it, right? The shoulder strap doesn't give you any extra, capabilities. It's made of material that's not made in America, right? So whatever. Now, and I'm not making this up. I try to take this bottle out. There we go. It's hard to get it, and then I finally get a grip, so I finally get it out. I know that sounds stupid, but I don't know, right? And then the last thing, so this is titanium, and I just showed a whole bunch of other products. And again, I'm just trying to give you a side-by-side comparison, and I'm going to end it on this, because this really pissed me off when I bought it, right? And there, see, I couldn't even figure out how to open the damn thing up, because all they did is they took the sides, they crimped it in 3 places, and there's 3 little openings, and it's all scratchy, and it's just I don't know. So the bottle aside, but this is the container that came with it, and there's a gazillion of these out there. So again, I'm not picking on one company or the other. I'm actually just trying to use it as a compare and contrast my product versus all that other stuff. If that's what you want to use, well then again, you hear me reference, well, let's use a sock. Seriously, grab an old sock, sew around, cut some holes, sew around it, put a shoulder strap to it, and then just throw your water bottle in a sock. It's the same thing as that. And it really is, or have a piece of gear that allows you to do a multitude of things and carry a multitude of gear. Because, if you're, again, it's not just a walk in the wood. There's no such thing. But, if that's what you want to carry with you on your walk in the woods, it's a technique. You do you, right? I'm going to do me, right? And that's what this is all about. So, all right, I think I've rambled long enough. Again, I could have kept going. I'm sorry maybe for that ending. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. You want to buy cheap material made overseas, support, non-American, workers. And again, I'm not even trying to be political about that, but you're going to support a communist regime and how they treat their people, or you're going to support American companies that only use American material made in America, supporting other American companies and other Americans. You do you. Again, they're techniques, and I'm not faulting anybody for any technique they want to use. Some techniques are better than others, though, just saying. So, all right, enough of that. Yeah, first time for everything. All right, boys and girls, you know the deal. If you've got questions, comments, bitches, complaints, I'll probably get a couple bitches and complaints out of this one. Yeah, you know what? I probably deserve it. I sell soft goods. That's what I do. I'm not into politics. I should keep politics out of my business because my business isn't politics. But I'm kind of getting tired of people buying cheap ass shit, and then I'm just getting tired of people buying cheap ass shit from other countries. Plain and simple. Support. Who don't care about their employees. You see, I'm just going to end it right there. I'm already kind of getting a little too worked up, and it's too beautiful of a day. So on that note, boys and girls, reach out anytime. I'll do the best I can to help you out. All right, everybody, be good. Woo!